evening to you all. You're here at Elly Tel Cockerel. We've changed the name, obviously, to accommodate Elly, right? And I've got the background there with Josh, but I don't know how that happened. All I know is that I'm with Chang. Chang, I love him. Everybody loves him. The whole community is in love with you, Chang, as you know. And welcome. How are you today, Chang? What are you up to? What have you been doing this
Doing
week?
very well. Doing very well this week, despite us not having any games to play over the weekend, and also despite the big blow of what I can only say is a big disappointment to see Udogi being
Yeah,
ruled out for the rest of the season. But I do hope he does recover well. But other than that, it's been a fantastic weekend of non-Spurs football, especially for the neutrals and for the
yeah.
rivals alike. I must say that given how Woolwich spanked the Chaps some 12 hours earlier, I'm not too upbeat about our chances. But
Love
you
it.
know what? I will still remain positive. I will still remain cool, calm, and composed ahead of our Sunday crunch tie. And you know what? I'm not going to let the rivals. I'm not going to let their form affect me one bit and
Yeah,
dampen my mood. I will still cheer the team on, even before the kickoff or well past kickoff. I'm still going to scream our names, our sing our songs from the rafters or on the live watch along with Colin and Senor Garcia.
yeah. Get the singing
I
going,
really
Chang.
do
Get
hope.
the
I
singing
really,
going.
really do hope I really do hope more than anything that the players do turn up this one time. If they do not turn up for the rest of the season, I couldn't care less. But for the love of God, just please do turn up for this one fixture. If it is the only fixture that you ever do turn up for the rest of the season.
That's it, Chang. This is it. Come on, you Spurs. Right, I want to take this off, Chang, this background, because it's disturbing my. It's making me look like I'm in and out. Unless I sit back. If I sit back, I think it's back. If I move about, this moves about. Can you see that? Come on, you Spurs.
Yes, I can see
Everybody.
the banner.
Yeah,
Was it a
come on.
scarf? I think it's a scarf. Yep, it's
Chang,
a scarf. I can see the
I have
scarf.
another surprise for you. Look at this. Hi,
Wow,
Pierre.
Hoiberg.
Yes, this is my shirt that I'm going to wear on Sunday. It's my lucky shirt. I've got my lucky hat, my Steve Perriman hat. We never lose when I wear the combination. Chang, you're muted. You're muted.
Yes, I am. Yes, I
That's
am.
it.
Sorry about that. I was just having a very quick conversation with a colleague who's still here in the office with me. But it's past my working hours now. It's past 6 p.m. Here in Kuala Lumpur, the capital of Malaysia, over in Southeast Asia. And whatever you have planned for us today,
Kuala
the
Lumpur.
you could call this the pre-derby build-up. Let's get right into it and let's get down to business.
Yeah, let's get down to business. So, first of all, I want to kick off with the ladies, actually, because we've made the FA Cup final, and I know we've touched on it, but I've had a lot of videos that Kate very kindly put out for me. So I was supposed to send a few more to Colin to compile, but it's been a really hectic week for me this week, and it's been my daughter's birthday yesterday. So I was leading up to my daughter's birthday. I was buying presents, going out. We went to this Monopoly place, which was fantastic, Chang. It was a life-size Monopoly, and we played the game, and we won. And Joanna she got a 10% discount off this one particular hotel that she likes, because what they do, they ask you before you go what gift you would like to win. So she said she'd like to get 10%, because they only give you 10%. They don't give you any more, off this particular hotel that she likes, Soho Farmhouse. So she got that, and she got a free bar session when we go next. So we get, I think it's 3 drinks each, free. So it's not bad, not bad. I know. You're muted. You're muted.
No, it's fine. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
actually something I do so that not to disrupt your flow. I would mute myself, but usually what I'll do is I will do the facial expressions, maybe even mouth expressions as
Yeah.
to
Anyway, what I was saying before, talk and ball, Colin, I asked him to do some things for me, but I didn't get to send them over. So because Kate put out the main one, sorry, where I was interviewing fans, right? And everybody can see them on YouTube now. And then I've got other ones that I'm going to send Colin. So I'll have a separate show tomorrow for that. So I've still got time to get the things over to Colin, because they're 6 hours behind us, Chang. It's very hard to catch Colin when he's not working and he's free. Yeah, so to have a conversation with him. So he said, just leave me voice notes. So I've been leaving him some voice notes, but not yesterday because it was my daughter's birthday. So I came off YouTube completely. I went AWOL, and Kate was sending out messages to find me. Jim was trying to find me. I went AWOL. They were saying, where are you, Elly? Are you okay? And I said, yes, I'm okay. I'm still alive, but it's my daughter's birthday and I'm celebrating it. And do you know what? I should have told them beforehand, but it didn't click in my head, Chang, that it was 23rd of April was also a stream that Kate and Jim wanted me on. So, me being a kind-hearted person, I would say I could commit to it still. But we went earlier than expected because we wanted to go to this Monopoly place. So the plans were all full. Anyway, we're going to get on to the Spurs Ladies, right? So obviously Spurs Ladies have made it to the FA Cup final, and we had a pre-tester. We drew 2-2 with Manchester United, and we were winning for a large chunk of that game, but they managed to get an equaliser quite late on. I think it was the 88th or 89th minute it was. So how did you see the game, Chang? What was your impressions of how we played?
We fell behind. I believe it was an early opener for the United women, but then we came back roaring in the second half, and I believe we scored like 2 quick fire goals in successive minutes. I believe it was like 2 in 3 minutes, and for the most part of the second half we dominated. I was kind of disappointed that we conceded a late equalizer. I believe it was the second minute of injury time in second half, and that's how the game ended, a 2-2 draw. But yeah, it was a good I would call it
it was a very good game. It was very well consistent
for the final. It was. And if this is a taster or a teaser of what to expect in the final, I would say that we are going into that final full of confidence. The ladies seem to have worked out how to go about scoring against them. Although there are concerns that we may concede, which I think would be inevitable. So this is going to be quite similar to the final. Is going to be very similar to the game that panned out on Sunday, whereby it's a matter of which team outscores the other to lift the FA Cup. And I really do hope it would be the team in Lily White.
Yeah. We'll be playing in blue and white because the ladies play with the blue shorts. But very well spotted there. Do you know what, Chang? I was looking at who scored for them, Mallard and Letitia, 90+2. And the first goal, the opening goal by Mallard, was 13 minutes. And then England scored in the 29th minute and Naz scored in the 31st minute. But you know what? They do put the stats up now, because I actually wrote them an email, because they never used to put the stats up for the ladies. I wrote them an email, and I think I never got a response, but I got an acknowledgement that they're looking into it. Right, but they didn't say that it was my email that works, but I'm sure it was, because my emails are legendary. They actually do what they're purposely meant to do. Yes, I was looking at the stats, right? And we had 37% of the possession to their 63. Yet we were in the lead for a long chunk of that game. And they had 6 shots on target and we only had 2, right? But those 2 went in. That's where we're getting more clinical in front of goal. Naz has stepped up, and so has other defensive players that are pushing up and making it hard for the opposition to break the lines. So they're pushing up, not too high like the first team of our men's team, but they hold a very strong line and they know when to press from the mid block to the forward block to the end block. Yeah, so we're doing it collectively, and the fluidity of the team I can see is improved. The passing of the team, because I saw a lot of chunk of the WSL games last season. We had a pretty poor season, to tell you the truth. We just scraped relegation. So now we are sixth, poised with games in hand to take over Manchester United's spot. And if we can get to fourth, I think that would be a very good season. And it would be very nice if they extended the Champions League to the fourth team. But currently, so far as I know, it's the top 3 teams that go to the Champions League. I'm sure that's still the case for this season, although I haven't looked it up because I've been busy with, Kate and doing Just a Girl Loves Spurs. But since I joined Tel Cockerel, I'm getting even more background knowledge of the ladies team, because you have to know your stuff, right? I'm not coming on here half-heartedly. So I'm researching the Manchester United team as well. So when I do my vlogs from Wembley, I know who they are. Obviously, I know Ella Toon and I know Mary Earps, right? And I know Zelen, because they play for England. So they're very high-profile players. But there are other players in the team like Laetitia, Mallard. There's other players that, can bring flavours to the Manchester United play, like their playmaking, yeah? So I just feel that I have to know my stuff, because if I'm going to be a correspondent for the ladies, I want to do it like a proper football show, that I know about Aston Villa, I know about Manchester City, I know about Arsenal's players, and I don't just know their names, I know how they play, their style, their formation, their tactics, everything. So that's what I've been doing for the past 8 weeks since I've not become. I've always been interested in ladies football, right? But you have to know your ball, yeah? It's not worth me doing a football show for ladies if I don't know the other teams' names, yeah? Just to get me there. So that's where I want to draft you in as well, Chang, because I know you're very keen on the women's game. So I would very much like you to do all the stats for me. And I can put my trust and my heart behind you, because I know you are a very diligent man and you know your ball. So I just want to get your impressions. I just want to get your impressions and who you thought played particularly well for Tottenham Hotspur, and who would you say was the standout for Manchester United?
Jessica Ness was a stand-up performer for us, as was definitely England, and I would single out. Let's see now. I believe, did Grace Clinton play, or was it? Hang on.
Grace Clinton did play. She did play. I'll tell you what.
She was. Yeah, she was substituted early on.
Yeah, because they're managing her minutes, because I read up on the Instagram that she was maybe carrying a little knock from training, but there was nothing big about it. There was no big spread about it that, she's injured, It's just hearsay sometimes. But when you see it on Instagram and the girl fans are chatting about it, I thought there might be some substance behind it. But like, I'm looking at the lineups, right? So they had Mary Earps in goal. Their right back was Aoife Mannion. Sorry, Gemma Evans. Left back, Aoife Mannion. Laetitia and Millie Turner. Right. And then in midfield, they've got Lisa Narslund, Katie Zellum, who plays for England, Melvin Mallard, who scored, Ella Toon, who also plays for England, Leah Galton. She's on the fringes, Leah Galton, and Nikita Paris, who's a very, very good player. Yeah, she's probably one of their standout performers over the last 3 seasons. Right. And then obviously up front, we're putting Jessica Naz up front, because do you know what? When she plays on the wing, I think we lose something, because she isn't blessed with blistering pace, but she's not a slouch. Right. And I think playing her as a focal point, because her ball's technical skills are very good, and she can hold the ball up for us, and then she can go, right? She's got a burst of pace, which is quite impressive, but she can't last. Do you know what I mean by that? Right? It's a bit like Kulusevski, but as a woman. Right? And then, yeah, and then there's other players in the team like Drew Spence, very technical player, lacks fitness at times to last 90 minutes, and that's why she comes off invariably in a lot of games. And then you've got Evelina Sumanen, who's been a very, very good servant to the club, and she's always solid. She's a bit like, I would liken her to Højbjerg in the team. She's not flashy, right? But she gets the job done. You know, she's one of those unsung heroes, right? And then our new signing, Amanda Nilden. Wow, fantastic. I think she's been really a breath of fresh air since she came to the club, and she's put in some stellar performances. Ash Neville, as you know, is my favourite player. So I've always liked her because she gives 100%, plays for the badge. Yeah, she's not the most skillful. She's technical, but she's not really, she's not like, say, Drew Spence, who can pick it and turn it, and she's got all the minerals, right? But what she lacks in that, she's got like blood and thunder and all heart, which I love, yeah? And then obviously Rebecca Spencer, Luana Beulah, who's settling in, Amy Turner, who's been with us for quite a few seasons. And then there's Matilda Wimberg, another star performer. She stepped up in a lot of games. She actually got a yellow card in this game because she's very good in the tackle, and she's very hardworking, but she has got skill as well. So that's a profile of our players. Obviously, I know the England players like Zellum and Toon in there, and Mary Earps, she goes without say, doesn't she? She's the world-class goalkeeper. You saw her in the World Cup, Chang. She was fabulous, wasn't she? And what do you?
Yes, she was.
Who do you see as a particular danger? Like, not just a particular danger. Who do you think's got the minerals to hurt us?
I would say it would be Ella Toon. Honestly, she was the one who was running the show for United against us, and it was her who set up, I believe, Melvin Malat for their opener as early as the 13th minute.
Yes.
And if there's one player that I would really be worried about, it would be her, Ella Toon. The other one would, of course, be Nikita Paris, although she didn't manage to find the back of the net in this game, but I believe she will be a handful for us come the FA Cup final. Honestly, if we can nullify this pairing of Ella Toon and Nikita Paris on the FA Cup final, I think we should stand a good chance. Although there still are other players in their lineup who would be, something to look out for. There are players to look out for that may be a handful for us as well. But I'm fairly confident, provided Martha Thomas, whom was substituted at the half-hour mark for Kit Graham. I hope she is fit and ready for the FA Cup final. And the likes of Jessica Ness, well done to her. I believe it's 2-2 for her now, as she was also the player who netted the equalizer for us against Birmingham. If memory serves me right. No, it's not Birmingham, sorry. Was it Leicester or Birmingham?
Yeah, she netted the equaliser against Leicester City. Well, they're same region. They're a Midland team, so it's a common mistake. Because I was going to talk about Gary Lineker as well, Chang. You know, Gary Lineker, he wanted the Leicester City players to do well, and he said, I wish you luck, but he didn't wish our team luck. He said that he wanted Leicester City to win. I didn't get your opinion on that. So what would you, I asked a lot of fans, what do you think of that? Sorry.
Honestly, I wouldn't read too much into it because Gary Lineker himself has openly supported, or rather, he has openly backed Leicester to lift the title ahead of us when we went toe-to-toe with them in that season where we've ended up third in a two-horse race. So honestly, when it comes to former club affiliations and whom you feel or rather whom you are strongly rooting for. For me, that is all in the past. It's just about what's in the present right now. And for
Yeah.
me, Lineker is well in the past. I honestly also can't quite remember if I've ever seen Lineker don Lily
Oh,
White in a Legends match or even a charity match for us. I have seen the likes of Gaza and Mabbott, even Perryman at some stage also. They did, do some matches for us for the Legends. But
yeah.
Lineker, not so much or even at all in the last
Um,
decade or so. So as far as
ooh.
Lineker is for me, he is just another face on a match of the day and a BBC pundit. Not much behind him as being a former Lily White legend.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't say you did him a disservice then because he did score 2 goals against Arsenal in the FA Cup semi-final, which we went on to win the final. So I've always had a soft spot for Gary Lineker because he was a true professional. He wouldn't go down willy-nilly, and he drew a foul, but he wouldn't go down like a ton of bricks and feign injury and roll around the ground like some players do. Yeah, so I really admired his professionalism and his willingness just to get on with the game and not get in the referee's ear like one certain Manchester United player that we know, Fernandez, not dropping any names. Yeah. But anyway, we've chatted a lot about the women's game, but we haven't gone to the chat and it's like buzzing. So we better get to the chat, you know. Right, here we go. I'm going to scroll up so I can get to the first one. I don't know why my cursor's always down the bottom. So we got the first in the house at 11:05 a.m. James, the Tottenham fan, sending us much love, Chang. And then we have, okay, let's show that one first. There we go. We've got the handshake and the heart. That's so lovely. Thank you very much, James. Tequila, tequila, tequila. Right, Tequila 316. I can't do the second verse because I don't know it. All I know is the tequila. Right, I've been told to say Mia Raid. Yes. Thank you very much, Mia. You're such a lovely lady. I hope you're coming to the North London Derby. I haven't spoken to you for a couple of days, Mia, but I hope you're in the house so that I can see. I want to speak to you as well because I want to see what your prediction is for the Spurs Arsenal game as well. Because I haven't been able to catch many shows lately because my daughter's birthday. So you know when it's family, you've got to give family their dues, haven't you? Otherwise, they give it in the neck. And talking about family, we've got my niece Drew La La. Big up Auntie El Chang and chat, Mia Raid. Woo! Thank you very much, Mia. And Wayne Bonner's saying, good morning, Elly. Good afternoon, evening, Chang. How are you both? We're very well, thank you. And I'm going to be sporting this one, Wayne. Look, Hoi Pierre, come on. And look at that. It's started to come off the red, you see, in the wash. It started to peel off. So I'm actually going to peel it off because I don't like it red and it's black underneath and it will look nicer. Yeah, I don't like any red on our kit, but look at that. Hoybier. That proves that I'm a Hoybier fan, doesn't it? Yes, let's put that over there for now. Right. Then we've got Shemtan is in the house. Woo! Mia Raid. Hi, Queen Elly Hoybier, Bentagor Werner, and the ever youthful looking Mr. Chang. Chang, you're having a very long tea break. Yeah. And then we have Senor Garcia. Come on, my guys. Yes. Guys and girls, we've got to be fair here, Jose. Right, Wayne Bonner and Mia Raid, it's an invasion. Yay. Yeah. Let's get rid of that. Oh.
Was there something that came up?
That's it. Yeah, something came up and I pressed it.
Are you still in the show? Are you still in StreamYard or have you somehow
I'm
or
not.
other minimized it?
Yeah.
I think you might have accidentally minimized StreamYard, judging from the way you are gazing all over your screen.
I'll come out. I'll come out.
Okay, so now I'm I am forefront. Okay, so maybe Mia is just trying to work out her StreamYard, seeing as she's the administrator for this show, and she's doing all the layouts and also the banners and the chat. But I'm just going to continue on with from where she left off
There we
in the chat.
go.
Oh, there she is. She's
I'm
back.
back. I minimised something. You know what? I saw something come up, Chang, and I minimised it. Let me click. I minimised it. Sorry about that, everybody. You know what? Sometimes my tech is not good. Can you hear me, Chang?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yeah,
It happens.
lovely.
It happens to the best of us.
No, something popped up and I minimised it, and it made me go away for some reason. Is that what happens? I mustn't press on it.
You're actually still visible to everyone, except that you just can't see your interface. You can't see what's going on live over on StreamYard, but you are still very much broadcasting, and you are still very much here
I'm still
on
here.
screen with me.
So the next chat was Rob Belcher. Come on, Rob Belcher, love him. Jimmy Greaves, come on, what great goals he scored, and still Britain's highest scorer. I think the English highest scorer. I think it's 357 goals. I might be wrong there, but I know it's somewhere near there. Right, so we got Rob Belcher saying, don't forget to hit the likes, my virtual friends in the chat. That's true. Come on, smash that like button, everybody. And also send the link to your friends so they can join us as well. And then we have Audio Artisan. Yes. Elly, who's your shout for Women's Player of the Year? Well, I would say Martha Thomas, because she's been fabulous. I would love to give it to Naz, but I think Martha Thomas, she's been a breath of fresh air, and her attitude and her smile and the way she scores goals. She was deputising for Beth England for a long time while Beth England was recovering from a major surgery that she had. And Beth England soon came back to the team, but it took her time to get back. And Martha Thomas took that pedestal so well, scoring many, many goals. And you know what? It's just her spirit I like, you know, and her heart. And she plays for the badge. And when she scores, she gives it, you know, slides across the floor, you know, and she's so happy when she scores. I know everybody is, but Martha Thomas is something else. I think she's fabulous. So I'm giving it to Martha Thomas. There you go. Scots lady. Come on, Scotland. Yeah. So Chang, I'm officially off duty for the rest of the day, Mr. Shemtan, sir. There you go. Letting everybody know, Chang. Yeah. Letting everybody know that you're here with me. Big up Elly and Chang. We have Cuva99, Cuva Bear. Big up Elly for bravely calling out the other channels for their shoddiness. That'll teach colleague Kate and Jim. I know. You know what? Sometimes you've got to do it, haven't you, Cuva? You just got to let them have it. And then we have the disabled team saying, good morning, everyone. Let's see if everybody's talking to one another, because well, Jose said I shouldn't read them out, but I you know, sometimes I like to. Elly, I've messaged you, Tel Cockerel. Okay, let's see what you've messaged me. Oh, maybe he's telling me off, you know. David Clark, Elly, then I encourage you to Spurs management to buy 2 new fullbacks. You know that we need them. Clinton didn't play against Manchester United. Yeah, she didn't play. Yeah. I think she's cupped. She's not cup tied, but she's tied. She can't play against her mother club, isn't it? Because I was looking for her on the match, right? And because I was busy that day, I was watching the match, but I was very, very busy, right? And I was focused most of the match, but I watched it up to about the 60th minute, and then I had to go and do a few things, and then I came back, and Andrula was filling me in as well, you know. So, you know what? Sometimes you just forget, you know, because it was my daughter's birthday. You can forgive me. You know, a lot of things were going by the wayside. But what do you think about David Clark's comment there, Chang?
Sorry about this. Yeah, that
What do
comment
you
by
think?
David Clark about the two new fullbacks. I feel that we do need them. We do need new signings for our fullbacks, but currently, I wouldn't say that they are a priority for us. Not this particular transfer window, unless say we are looking to do what Big Ange is trying to do with the men's team and really challenge for
Yeah,
the Women's Super League title. I would actually prioritize, say, maybe another midfielder or even say another forward
yeah,
to partner either Martha Thomas or Beth England up top.
yeah.
I mean, if we could sort out the left back, that would be great. But it's not a priority right now. And if we could say make Grace Clinton's loan permanent, I believe that would be a good way to go about it.
Yeah, because we missed her energy in midfield because she's so dynamic. But we've got a few players in midfield that are quite much the muchness. It's only Drew Spence, but she's aged, so she's not. She's very technical, but obviously she gets tired earlier on in the game, and she's normally substituted at 60 minutes. That's sort of a going rate on average, you know. But um, I would say Charlie Grant is a pretty good player. She's quite technical, although she plays like more of a defensive role, but she can be pushed into midfield, I would say. And Ash Neville, I think we're wasting her at right back. I think she needs to be more in the midfield because she's very tenacious, like a CDM, and she can bring the ball forward because she's very good. She's got a good turn of pace, and I think she's just being played out of position. And as she's aged as well, because I think she's 29 or 30 now, right? She's slowed down a little bit because it they're really demanding of the ladies' game now. They're playing 90 minutes for a number of years now. And there's extra time and there's, you know, like they're doing like the men's game where there's 8 or 9 minutes extra time, maybe 10 minutes even after that, you know, and it does take its toll on the ladies. And their fitness levels are they're supreme at the moment. You know, like in the last 4 or 5 years, I've noticed the fitness levels, and in the last 2 years, I've noticed that they're even better, and their diet and their the scientific look at how women of avoiding the ACL injuries. You know, they're looking into that, how to help women not suffer so many ACL injuries, because it's reported that women are 6 more times likely to suffer an ACL than a man. So their sports scientists are looking into that, Chang. You see, so Chang, I just wanted to get your opinion on these ACL injuries as well. Why do you think they're occurring more in the women's game? Do you put it down to fitness, or do you put it down to maybe the woman's body is not equipped for the 90 minutes? You know, because a lot of people are saying this, but I disagree. I just wanted to get a male perspective on it.
I can only speak from a physical or rather a physiological point of view when it comes to this sort of injuries. As far as sports related injuries is concerned, your ACL is actually more to do with the way you warm up before, say, a big event, or even the way how you warm down after that. If this sort of ACL is reoccurring and it's not the first time, say for a particular player, it could be very well down to their training regimens, because
Yeah,
I have seen this sort of problems disrupt the men's team as well from time to time, especially certain players who have recurring injuries to their ACL. Honestly, though, if this sort of injuries are long term, but our medical department isn't really doing anything to address it or even to tackle it from cropping up every now and then, maybe a different sort of training regime would do these players who are afflicted with ACLs in the past. Hopefully that it won't come to haunt them in future, if and when
yeah,
it really comes to the business end of a season, and we can ill afford any more of this unnecessary injuries to resurface before a big crunch tie, especially now that we have the FA Cup final on the horizon. I would actually put it down more towards how these players are actually conditioned before match day, and also how they go about their training regimes, or even the training routines on a daily basis. Uh, yeah, I believe it should be more towards the sports, or rather the physical uh, day-to-day activities that actually leads to ACL, rather than say a physiology, or even a medical sort of condition. Although
Yeah,
it's not uncommon for certain humans, certain individuals, to have a more tender or a more sensitive ACL compared to others. But more often than not, it would be down to their conditioning, and also their training regimens that they put in the daily routine for the club, and also for the country as well.
yeah. I just changed my virtual background because it was Josh's face in my, I love Josh, but he's sort of staring and I'm staring, probably put a lot of people off, But yeah, I agree with you there, Chang. But in regards to David Clark's right back and left back, he's always said this. So he's sticking to his guns because he really does believe we need an improvement. And I did agree with him. I said Neville's doing a very good job, and Amy James Turner, she had a long injury, so it takes time for her to recover and get back to her. So because I think she was WSL Player of the Month for quite a few months. Right, that's nice. That's nice. Right, I like that, a view from Asia. Yeah, so I just think that the Amy Turner, I think we probably could upgrade on her. Yeah, but I think Ash Neville needs to go into that central defensive midfield role. And then we buy a new a new right back. Yeah. But like you said, it's not a priority because she can play that role, Ash Neville, because she's a very diligent player. And I believe in her because she's got Spurs written right through her heart, that girl, and she does play for the badge. And what she may lack in defensive prowess, because that's not her natural position in my opinion, right? Because I've seen her play so many good roles, joining the attack as well. And against Brighton, not last season, the season before, where we battered them eight. I think, was it last season? It was either last season or the season before. I can't remember. We battered them 8-0 at the Brighton Stadium at their stadium. So I just feel she's wasted as a right back because she's got so much more to offer the team, and you don't always get all the juices, like all the skills that she's got in her locker. Because when you're a defender, you're concentrated, you're focused, yeah. But when you're CDM or an attacking midfielder, your job is to like be the engine of the team and be the creative of the team. And she's got creative juices in her as well. She's got a very good passing range, right? And she's very underrated at the club, I think. And that's why they've put her as right back. If I was her, I'd make some noises to go into midfield because she really is suited to that role. Yeah. What do you think of Ash Neville, what you've seen of her?
Wow, Ashley Neville. This is a tough one to have to answer, because I've been watching her at right back for so long. It actually, I've actually kind of like accepted it as her natural position now, sort of like how we viewed Eric Dyer before he was shipped off to Bayern Munich. Although I know he
Yeah.
started off as a DM, but then eventually he worked his way back to centre back, and that's how most of us see him as. Even right now, over at Bayern, he's still a centre back, and that's how I feel. That's how I view Ashley Neville.
Yeah.
Uh, I think she's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful servant to the club, a wonderful player, a wonderful human being.
Yeah.
And
100%.
I am following her very actively on her social media, especially her Twitter
Yeah.
feed.
Same
And
here.
I mean, honestly, if Robert Wilhelm feels that Ashley Neville has a long-term future at right back, it wouldn't be the worst thing that could happen for her and also the
Yeah.
team. But if you know, if a better right back can be recruited to fill in that void for her, then I would very much welcome it. Let's see now. You know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what I have to say on Ashley Neville and her current position over at right back. I would
Yeah.
also leave it down to Robert Villahem to make that decision. Whether or not he feels that Ashley Neville is a good long term right back for us remains to be seen.
Sorry. Natural mistake. I've put it on
It's
silent.
fine. It's fine. It's normal.
It's not
So
Jose.
yeah, Ashley Neville at right back. I feel that she is still our best choice at that position this current season.
Yeah, I'll
Next
get
season onwards, I think she still has a preseason to determine whether or not she's going to be playing there from next season onwards. But yeah, Ashley Neville at right back, that would be my first choice actually for the FA Cup final.
And in terms of the left back, Amy James Turner, because she's won quite a few awards and she's noted as being a strong defender. That's one area I don't agree with David Clark. I think she is best suited for that position, and she's very tenacious. She gets stuck in. She lacks a bit of pace, yeah, but remember she was out for a long time, so she needs time to get into the team and make her mark again. Because it's like refresh and get back into your normal stride and start playing how you can play, not under yourself. Yeah, because I mean, I say for myself as a player, I know what it's
Mm-hmm.
like when you're struggling for form. Yeah, because I've had games where I thought I didn't do my best. Right, I wanted to do my best, but I was carrying an injury. Right, I broke my leg 3 times. I broke my ankle, broke my collarbone, broke 2 fingers. When I went in, I had to go in goal for a match, and I broke 2 fingers saving the ball because the shot was so hard. Yeah, so it takes time because all these injuries mount up, and these players, they get knocks, and they're not even reported. Right, it's not like the men's game where it was always reported. Now we've gone more professional, and we've got the WSL. Yeah, it's made the game more professional. When I was playing, Chang, there was nothing like this. There was nothing like this. It was local tournaments, friendlies, and there was a league, but it wasn't a very well run league. Like, you turn up for a match and the other team wouldn't turn up. So you just play amongst each other. We played 5-a-side, and then we had one substitute. That's what we used to do because it was so unorganized, right? And women's sport in general, yet alone football, wasn't taken seriously. Now you've got women golfers earning millions. Yeah, you've got women footballers earning millions, doing sponsorships for £500,000 a time. That this wasn't around in my day. I wish it was. I probably wouldn't be on YouTube. I'd be sitting on the beach drinking some cocktails. Do you know what I mean? Right. So, yeah, but I do love YouTube, though. I still do YouTube because I love talking Tottenham. Everybody who knows me that I was born in Tottenham. So I love talking about my hometown as well. It's not just Tottenham Hotspur, it's my hometown, right? And my hometown gets put down quite a lot. But when I lived there, I've moved to Enfield now, but when I lived there, such warm, kind people, and it's got a very bad reputation. People put it down, and I don't like it. I don't like that they put my area down because that's where I'm from, right? I've never forgotten my roots. I'm in Enfield now. It's no better than Tottenham in terms of housing. There are some parts of Enfield that are very nice, don't get me wrong, and you have to pay top dollar. But Tottenham, it's an up and coming area. You see what Daniel Levy's doing now, building these hotels, and he's going to revamp the whole area, hopefully. But that's just cosmetic. It's the people that live in it that make the area, not the buildings, not the shops. It's the people that run the shops, you know, not the outside. You could go to a restaurant down Tottenham High Road, right? And you'll see outside, you think it doesn't look posh like the ones down the West End, but you go in and it's a family-run business, and you go in and you eat, and they give you all their love and attention. That's what I'm talking about. That's what makes an area. Yeah, the people make the area, not the buildings. Yeah, so that's my rant over. I did a bit of Jimbo Pacino there, you know, but do you see where I'm coming from, Chang? Yeah.
Yes, I do.
They do really do put down Tottenham, and I sometimes it hurts my heart because I was born and raised there. I lived there for 22 years of my adult life, and then I was living in Hastings for a little while and Rye, and then I came to Enfield. So I'm just bigging up Tottenham, the area, the people. Yeah, come on. We're all Spurs fans at the end of the day, wherever you're from. If you're not from Tottenham and you're from another area and you're coming into Tottenham, you'll get the warmth of Tottenham, especially the jerk chicken. The jerk chicken is there waiting for you to eat it, you know, and you've got your bagels with salt beef and pickles. There's so much food variety, you know. You've got Chick King, which does absolutely stunning chicken, all freshly made, you know. So the area... yeah, it's deprived, yeah, of a lot of money. It's one of those areas that, you know, needs regeneration, but that's not the be all and
Isn't
end all of the area.
isn't that what the Northumberland project was supposed to be, to sort of regenerate the entire area? The Northumberland project, from what I read from and what I've
Yeah,
heard on online.
yeah, and a lot of the work wasn't done. Yeah, and a lot of funding got pulled. A lot of projects didn't get underway. What I read, and the projects that did run out of funding, and some went to full fruition, you know, and you've got lots of different areas that have got nicer buildings. But what I say, it's all cosmetic, right? Like I say, the people make the area, right? And I was there for 22 years and not one thing happened to me. I can only speak for myself. I can speak for my brothers as well. They never got into any scraps. We were a very well respected family. We're a Greek Cypriot family predominantly with English roots. And Drula will tell you, if she's still in the chat, we all got on. Yeah. And we played games outside, ran freely. There was no computers then. Yeah. We didn't have computers like they do now and computer games. There was like a massive thing if it was a computer, you know, one of those old-fashioned ones that you have to cart around. But like I said, I don't want to harp on about it too much because this is a football channel. But, you know, I'm just bigging up Tottenham because there are a lot of nice people there, yeah. And also Tottenham Hotspur Football Club is there. That's the main thing is Tottenham Hotspur Football Club is there and we all support them, yeah. Yeah, so let's get back to the chat, Chang, because we've got a few people have put in some comments. We've got the disabled team. Welcome. Big up, Kuva. Yeah, we always big up Kuva. What a lovely man he is. The disabled team, smash the likes and subscribe if you're new. Thank you. True. Smash the likes. The disabled team saying hi, Jose. Yes, come on, Jose. Kuva 99. I don't want to call him Kuva. I'm just going to call him Kuva. The disabled team, big up, mate. I'm going to read them all. I don't care. Tel Cockerel, good morning, all in the chat. Thanks for being here. Please show your appreciation for Elly and Chang by smashing the like button and making comments for them. Yes, we always can rely on you, Jose, to come in and help us out. That's really good and kind of you. Right, David Clark. He's saying, I'm 69. Very rude number. I won't go there. And I could run around Neville's sorry, but she's a hopeless at fullback. Now you've daggered to my heart. And she's my favourite player, David. I get enough with Højbjerg. I get enough with this man. So much hate. So much don't rate him, you know. A lot of malice He's like Marmite, they tell me. Now I'm getting it for Neville from you. Ah, listen, all I can say, everybody's got their own opinion, yeah, and I respect your opinion. If that's what you think, I respect it, David. You know, I'm not one to sort of dig you out. All I would say is that I disagree, and the reasons why I disagree is because I know where she's best placed. It's not fullback, but there are times I can agree with you where she's been found wanting, yeah, and she lacks a bit of pace, but she doesn't lack heart, and she doesn't lack playing for the badge, and she doesn't lack putting all her minerals into one bag, you know, and dispersing them on the pitch and actually playing the ball nice and cleverly. You know, what she lacks as a defender, she makes up with her passing range, and also a tenacity. Yeah, she'll always put in a shift, right? And I know we've touched on this already, Chang, so I'm not going to bring you into the action. I can vouch for her because she is my favourite player. But like I said, she's being played out of position. Sorry, but that's how I feel. But you've got your own personal opinion, David, and I do respect it. All right. And then we've got David Shear. Woo! Not Shire, Shear. Hello, my lovelies. Yeah, I had a really lovely chat with David the other day. It was really, really enlightening, and I love him. I think he's a lovely man. You're a very nice man, David. You know, and I get, you know, like he's from Australia, right? So, you know, he's got like an Australian affinity through Ange Postecoglou as well. But not only that, he knows a lot about football in general, and he's a very staunch Spurs fan, which I love. I think everybody who supports Spurs, if you're on win, lose or draw, you're still a Spurs fan, and you won't go over the top with your not analysis of the game, just a bit negative, you know. Sometimes you've got to call players out and this, but do it in a nice fashion. You know, you don't have to go over the top and like go into meltdown, if you know what I mean. Yeah, because at the end of the day, every player goes on that pitch to win. They don't go on the pitch to lose, but sometimes they just don't perform. And sometimes they don't perform as a team, innit, Chang? Sometimes all the 11 don't perform. When you saw the Fulham game, Chang, for example, on the men's side, we'll switch it to the men's side now. What did you think of that performance?
Oh, where do I even begin? I can't. I honestly, I haven't fully gotten over that result yet at
I
Craven
know.
Cottage because we had just come off a very resounding away win at Villa Park, that 4-0 win, and I was actually hoping for back-to-back clean sheets at Craven Cottage, and it just didn't happen for us. The midfield was completely all at sea.
Yeah,
Bissouma, Pepe Matasar, and also Madison too, to a
the
certain
whole
degree.
midfield.
And I mean, and this is also something that we might have to address sooner or later, in which Big Ange is a bit too slow at times when it comes to making substitutions and trying to affect games when things aren't going right. Because that wasn't only the only match that he made substitutions too slow when we were trailing at 3-0. It happened again, our last league game against Newcastle. And this is something that is quite commonplace with Big Ange. But back to the players themselves, I think they only have themselves to blame. They have to take responsibility and they have to step up massively if they are
Yeah,
going to be long-term players in Big Ange's Ange ball system. And what really concerns me more than anything is that even now, coming towards the end of this season, with only 6-7 games left for us to play after the North London derby, Big Ange still hasn't come to grips with what is his best three midfielders. Although you could say that
no,
James Maddison will be spearheading the midfield, but the two midfielders behind James Maddison, up till now, we're still scratching our heads whether is it going to be Bissouma and Sarr, whether it's going to be Bentancur and Kulusevski. Will we ever see Højbjerg in that role ever again, or even Oliver Skip come next season? there are still so many variables and so many questions to be answered. I really do hope before this Sunday that that question is answered once and for all, because otherwise, if not, we are in for a pasting on Sunday, and we would not want
Yeah,
that to come about, would we not,
I love
Elly?
that word. I've not heard that for a long time, pasting, because we've had a few pastings. Newcastle battered us 4-0. We go to Aston Villa, we batter them 4-0. Then we beat Nottingham Forest 3-1, a decent result. Didn't play well. Against Brighton, going back a little bit further, we played pants. Honestly, I was there at that match with Phil P. It was the worst performance I've ever seen in this. I think it was even worse than Fulham in a lot of ways. Honestly, I would put it
But we
worse than
managed to score. That's the thing. That's the
yeah.
thing about the Brighton match. Even Valise got in the score sheet as well.
Take the goals away from it, though, right? Take the goal. We played really bad, and like individually and as a team, right? And Brighton were like popping it around, pop, 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 pop. We were like chasing shadows, right? And we didn't get grips of the match. But then I saw the stats, and we had more possession, but we weren't using the ball properly. It's not worth having possession if you don't use the ball in a way that can hurt the other team. And there was 2 bits of magic that got us out of the mire. Well, first of all, Kulusevski, he was playing rubbish. Honestly, he was playing like under himself. Like Kulusevski's been performing like that for quite a number of weeks after that, and quite a number of weeks before that match. But he done one sublime pass, absolutely stunning pass to Pape Matar, and Pape Matar went on his way, received the ball, took it up, shot it, came back to him, and shot it in again. I think he hit the post first time, I think, if I remember correctly, and then it hit the defender and went in. Right, I think Dunn was lunging at him to try and stop him, and he didn't quite do it. And then the other bit of magic was from Sonny, right? It was a good combination between him and Richie, if I recall. And then or was it Werner? It was either Richie or Werner, right? And then Sonny crossed it right across the 6-yard box, and Johnson came in at the back post and just had an easy tap in. Yeah, and the crowd went crazy because we knew we'd got out of jail, right? I mean, on that game in particular, right? Did you feel? I would say team wise, the Fulham game, because we didn't score as well, but we had lots of chances to score. Whereas in the Brighton game, we didn't play well at all. Our passing was really bad. I would say it was on the par with the Fulham game, right? And Brighton were very lively, and they took the game, they took the initiative early on, and they ran with it, right? And I just thought they were really good, Brighton. They were just unlucky. And the previous season, we'd beaten them 2-1, and they played much better than us as well. I just feel like our performances have not been good enough, really up and down. And when we've been good, we've been sublime. And when we've been really bad, we've been so bad that, it depletes the fan base and everybody goes into meltdown. What I do, I just take a look at it, take a step back, and then I see Ange Postecoglou's going to make a lot of cuts because he can see which players can make the cut and which ones don't. What do you think of Ange Postecoglou? That he stands there and people have criticised him for not screaming and shouting. Do you feel like me that he's parading and looking to see who he's going to keep and who he's going to cut? Or do you think he should do more from the touchline?
There are 2 ways of looking at this. From what I've seen from this season alone, and also from what I've also seen from the highlights of watching him over in Scotland and also in Japan and Australia. It would be, I would say, it's down to his managerial nuance, or his approach in game management and also player management, in which he actually gives the players their own freedom and their own independence to sort of sort it out amongst themselves, which is why he had that leadership group to begin with. When you look at how Son, the club captain, leading the front lines, and then further behind him you have Madison, who is marshalling the midfield, and finally that goes back down to Romero, the last of our leadership group, who is marshalling the defense. For me, most of the time, the way I see it, Big Edge is actually giving his players freedom and also their own independence to work it out amongst themselves. What's going wrong? Where do they need to step up? Who needs to step up?
Yeah.
How do they go from, say, being a goal down or two down? And he would make some alterations, some changes. Most prob more often than not at the hour mark than the actual halftime. But this is actually a ploy or an approach for him to let the players sort it amongst themselves. And
Yeah.
if and when the players feel too lost or too uh, out at sea to even begin to comprehend where it is that they are going wrong, then he will step in and he will implement what he feels is a very necessary change to our lineup and also to the players who are on. I would not necessarily say that it's a bad thing for him to just remain quiet, calm, cool, and composed on a touchline, rather than as compared to, say, prancing up and down that
Yeah.
touchline, that technical box, acting like like a demon possessed. The way some managers conduct themselves.
Yeah.
I feel that he is one of the better managers who have managed us. Although yes, he has been sussed out from time to time, and his inability to sort of make any sort of to get his message across to the players and make changes whenever necessary to prevent a landslide defeat is a concern as
Yeah.
well, and I hope it does get addressed. But as far as his how should I say this, his conduct, the way he carries himself, his mannerisms, his
Mm.
body language is you know there for all to see from the touchline. I think there's nothing wrong with it. It's just how he then conveys what he needs to convey to the players, say during
Yeah.
halftime or even during breaks. That I feel is more critical. But yeah, I mean, some. I mean, barking some instructions every few minutes and or so wouldn't be the worst thing to happen. But if it's not the sort of manager to do that, I wouldn't say it's entirely a bad thing for him to just keep mum and not say anything throughout the entire 90
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. The only thing I would say, right, is when it comes down to his in-game management, yeah. So he gives the players an instruction, and if they're not following what he's doing, and I know I've said this so many times, the remote control business. You mentioned the remote control, right? Now, if I've got a remote control, say this, my phone is my remote control, right? And I'm looking at Udogi, and he's inverted, and then we're out of transition, so he's supposed to go back to left back, isn't he? Left back and defend the goal, and he's found wanting. So if I go, Zut, get back over there, Zut, get up. You know what I mean? He hasn't got a remote control, and he's got a vocal voice. So I would say, like, shout at them, yeah, shout at them to get back into position because they're young. It's like when you've got a toddler, you tell the toddler not to go and touch something, right? And the toddler will go and touch it because they're curious, right? They're out of position in the home, right? They're doing things that they shouldn't be doing or going to places in the home that they shouldn't be, and they're being naughty or they're looking for the sweets, right? And
But
their focus is gone, yeah. So that's what Postecoglou was alluding to, that he needs a remote control because they're losing their discipline. He's telling them what to do, but they're not carrying it out.
But there is also that counter argument, actually, Queen Elly, in
Yeah,
which if you were to take that analogy that you just made earlier about this, say, a young child who is being told to do something that he or she should not, and that if he or she does go ahead and do what she isn't supposed to do, that she will have to find it out for herself the hard way. I believe that's what Big Ange is actually doing all this long
Yeah.
while, in which he's actually trying to teach the players a very painful but also a very valuable lesson, in which if you don't go about what you're supposed to be doing, you are going to have to learn it the hard way. And more often than not this season, especially when you look at those very disappointing results, yes, the players, the team, the squad, even the management and the coaching staff,
Mm.
they had to learn a lot of hard, valuable lessons, the painful way, the embarrassing way, the very how should I say this? The very damaging way, as far as qualifying for Europe is concerned. But again, at the end of the day, just so long as those players who have made those mistakes that they're not supposed to, if they have taken the lessons too hard and they then put in the minutes during their the training sessions, and they really then improve on what they were
Yeah.
missing out or what they were lacking from those games that they were found wanting, then yes, I feel that it is a good
Yeah.
progression on their part and also a way to mature, although not many would actually give them that leisure. They don't have the they don't have the time, and also the uh the period of the learning curve. They don't really have that the luxury to go with a very smooth learning curve, if that makes any sense to you.
It
So
does.
maybe every
It
once in a
does.
while, Big Ange himself needs to crack the whip, especially when it comes to, say, barking out orders from the touchline during matches. And if there was one particular match, one game this season in which he has that grand old opportunity to break that trend, let it be this Sunday in the North London derby.
You know what I mean? Yeah, because I don't think the fans will warm to him if he's just standing there and things are going wrong and we're getting battered by Arsenal and he's
Exactly,
standing
exactly.
there praising, because this is the big North London derby. It means so much to so many Spurs supporters and Arsenal fans alike. There's a big rivalry there. It's the biggest rivalry in football in my eyes. Um, yeah, I get your point about that though, Chang. Like he's letting the players go on a learning curve so that they learn from their mistakes. But it's happening in quite a number of games. So when are they going to learn? It's like you don't scold the child, you teach the child, yeah, in training. That's what training's for, right? To iron out the mistakes they made in the previous game. Right. So your Dogi, for example, right? I'm not digging him out in particular, but he's trotting back. He's not busting his gut, nor is Basuma, nor is Werner. As a collective, they could have prevented a goal from being scored when Chris Wood scored, yeah? And against Luton again. Trotting back, no busting your gut to get there, right? That is within the player's own mentality, yeah? Ange could say to them, right, when you're out of possession, I want you to bust your gut and get back and get into position. I don't need my remote control to put you there. Yeah. Um, so there's if buts and monkey nuts, as Kate says. Yeah. You know what I mean? They have to be disciplined and learn from their mistakes quicker than they're learning, because in this league it's very cruel and punishing, right? And we want to make we could, I think this is what I truly believe. I feel that we could have won the league this season. I really do think we could have won the league this season, because the way we were playing, we fell off a cliff against Chelsea because we went down to 9 men. That was the Chelsea gate, I called it. Yeah. We just lost our way, and the discipline is very important in a team, right? The younger players, they can learn from players like Romero. He holds his line and he does track back, right? It's desire as well, right? Your desire to win that match. I think our desire has been lacking in a lot of matches. It's not even just discipline, it's desire. The mentality comes with the desire. You have to work hard. Do you see Man City slacking? Every single player is on point. Yeah, and that's why they win the league. So we've got to get that into our team, because I think we've got enough. We've got certain minerals in certain positions, but we need to improve in a lot of other positions, so we can even challenge even harder. But we're fifth. We're 13 points off the top, I believe. Yeah. You think, you take the Fulham game, we won that. You take the Newcastle game, we won that. There's so many games we could have won that we lost because of ill discipline and the mentality and the desire. The desire wasn't there. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that tenacity to go in with the tackle, to ram back, bust your gut to make yourself available to score a goal. Yeah? That's where there's little details, Chang, but they're big details as well. And that's why you lose matches rather than either draw them or win them. But getting the wins over the line, I believe we've got 18 wins over the line. I think we've got 6 draws and 8 losses. Is that correct? I believe that's correct. The last time I checked, right? So those 8 losses, if we had the desire, I'm sure we would have got a minimum of 4 losses and a maximum of 6 losses. I'm sure we would have got at least 4 more over the line if our desire was there. Yeah? Against Fulham, there was hardly any desire. We lost the first balls, we lost the second balls.
I could say this about those losses that you mentioned, those 8 losses. There were a couple of those losses that could have been prevented, maybe even turned into victories via early defeats to Aston Villa and West Ham. Those narrow 2-1 defeats, those early, defeats from last year in the beginning of the season come to mind, especially when you look at how we were then slowly but surely conceding needlessly, whether it's from set pieces, whether it's giving away penalties or conceding from corners, not reading headers, or even getting caught on a counter. And then even worse mistakes were made, very sloppy back passes that were intercepted, or even players not stepping up and tracking back, as you so rightly mentioned earlier. These sort of things, the players, as you just mentioned, they are young, but in order to be able to compete at the very top with the very best, these sort of mistakes cannot be a weekly occurrence, which seem to be the trend right now, which is actually concerning. If you look at how we conceded to Newcastle, how many of those were avoidable? How many of those conceded were totally avoidable and just unnecessary? And again, you look at the Fulham debacle. How many of those how many of those that we conceded at Craven Cottage could have been prevented altogether if only, say, we had just a bit more tenacity in the way we closed down their forwards or even chased after loose second balls. These are the sort of things that I would put down to the players, not necessarily the management, if and when the players don't feel up for it, or if they have something else on their minds and they aren't fully focused. I would put that down more to the the players more than anything. But it's still a learning process. It's still a learning curve for everyone involved to have to address and sort it out sooner rather than later. Because if we don't, and this is the big worry for me next season, if we don't, then the likes of the current top 3 or top 4 will just pull away, and we might even see a resurgence from those teams that are currently below us, the likes of a United, Newcastle, even Poch and the Chiefs. So I mean, we still have a long way to go from between now and the end of season, and honestly, I couldn't care less right now where we finish. But what needs to happen is that we need a shift in attitude. We need a big change in our mentality, especially Big Ange as well. The way he is just letting the players go about their, their own business and only taking his own sweet time in telling them off, whether it's during halftime or at the end of the match. I think that comes far too late. He needs to get his message across and quick and be able to make changes sooner rather than later. But yeah, this is something also that needs to be addressed as far as player mentality is concerned, and also the application of players as well, because we've seen that happen with Bissouma. Like if you look at the first 10 matches for us, he was on fire. You would think that
Right.
he was actually a better midfielder than Declan Rice. And you've
Yeah.
and many of our fans were even calling Woolwich out for spending 100 million quid on Declan Rice when we had
100%. I was
Bissouma
one of them.
for only 25 million from Brighton. And now we
Yeah.
see what has transpired since then, since those first 10 matches where Bissouma completely fell
Consistency.
off. Not only did he fell off, he then fell out of favor with the national
Yeah.
squad of Mali. And that for me is
No.
very, very telling, when you are not even considered for national
For your
duty
country.
for a
Yeah.
country that have very few midfielders to have to choose from, and you're not even selected. That I
Mm.
think is a damning indictment on his part as to what has gone wrong with him. I wouldn't I wouldn't want to focus too much on where we are as a team right now, because again, I've mentioned too many times now in this show alone that we still are uh, a project, a team in a rebuild. But if and when Big Ange does decide to actually kick on, and if he is serious about challenging next season, some drastic measures need to be done. They need to be made, and they need to be done right
Yeah.
now.
I agree. I very much agree with what most of the things you said. Obviously, there's some things I'd like to not pick at, but I just think the players, right? So Basuma, like you mentioned, the first 10 matches, I would say 7 of those matches were very excellent performances, and then 3 were good. Because I would say the 7 that were excellent, like he was doing all the things that I expect Basuma to do: drive with the ball, passing range, linking up with Madders, generally being a nuisance, getting stuck in, providing for the front three, sorry, and just generally being Basumaisms, I call them. Yeah, he's got the minerals. He has, right? He's got every technical skill that you can think of, right? But football's just not about technical skill. It's about focus. It's about mentality, hard work, diligence, fighting for your team, right? I've seen that very much lacking in him, yeah. And his body language. I'm very up on body language. He seems disinterested. His focus is gone. Yeah. And I don't like that, because I want a player like Basuma to get on that pitch and show us what he can do every single match. I know there's going to be matches that you're going to be marked very heavily, but he's got the skill. He's got the half turn to go off, and he's got pace as well. He's got a lot of strength. He's not a massive man, but he's not a small man. But he's got a lot of strength, and he's not showing any of these qualities. And what he's doing, he's passing the buck. He's passing the ball back. He gives it to Van der Ven. He gives it to Romero, instead of taking it on the half turn that he was doing early season, because he was still in the defensive midfield role then. He wasn't an attacking midfielder. He was a defence CDM. So we know Basuma has got the jewel in the crown to unlock defences, to link up with players, to make things happen. And he hasn't done any of that. But then there's the other side of football where you've got to work hard when you're out of possession. And I don't see any of that either. See, so I'm looking in particular for midfield roles that I didn't play, but I know how a CDM should play. And part of it is heart and fire, to get stuck in when the tough get. They say the tough get going. When the going gets rough, the tough get going. But we haven't seen that
Okay.
from Basuma.
So just going back on what you said about Bissouma and that CDM position, would you say that maybe Bissouma is wasted in CDM, Or would you
Yes.
say that he is best suited as a CDM?
No, I know people play him as a CDM, and when he's on his form and when he's focused and when he's got his, obviously he's had malaria and he's had long COVID. It's reported that he's had long COVID, and he's had the Ramadan with the fasting as well. That all affects footballers. It does, because if you haven't eaten all day, you're just drinking water. It's hard. I know this, right? But there is a big but here, right? I just think he's wasted as a CDM. I think he's more of a, you can put labels on it, right? You can say he's more suited to an attacking midfielder like I was, but I think he's in between. I think he's one of those players a bit more like, he's more like Bentancur and Dembele mixed in together, because Bentancur can play that deep line thing, and he's got the minerals to bring the ball up. He's got speed, he's got strength, tenacity. Yes, but we know Bentancur's been injured, so I think it's a role reversal. But he played that role for Brighton, and I think he was wasted at Brighton as well, because we saw a fantastic Basuma, but I think if he's put in between, because I don't think Ange plays 6 and 8s. He interchanges as well, right? And you'll often see Sarr go more forward and join the attack. So I want to see more in the final third, Basuma, because I think he can affect games much more efficiently than doing that deep line defensive work.
So, based on what you just said about Bissouma and what you feel his best position is going forward, whom would you say then would be our the best CDM, or rather who would you say would be the CDM for us given our current roster of squad players then?
Do you know what? I wish we could play 4 in midfield. I wish we could have, because that's
Okay.
what it used to be, 4-4-2, right? And 4-4-2 is a very good system. Nobody hardly plays it anymore, right? And it's a big shame in my book, because when I played 4-4-2, it was fantastic, because you've got 2 CDMs. You've got one that's more attacking, sort of in between an attacking CDM and a defensive. Then you've got a proper CDM, like someone like Paulinho, Højbjerg, Bentancur. Yeah, I would say if we had a very fit Bentancur, I would sacrifice Sarr and bring him on for later on, or even put Sarr in Basuma's place and sacrifice Basuma on the bench, because I think Sarr is a much harder working player. He's more diligent. He gets stuck in. He can join the attack. He runs back. He will track back. So you've got all that. He's a bit like N'Golo Kante, but without the polished article. He's still learning the game, remember? And his passing can be sometimes a little bit off, but when he gets it right, he gets it right. And the way he scored goals, I think he scored 3 goals for us this season, right? He'll get better and better with age because he's maturing. And you can see, even from this season where he's been given his big chance by Ange Postecoglou, that he's thrived and he's taken it with both feet. Yeah, so like most people say, grabbed it with both hands. But he's done so much legwork. I think he's covered the most grass for us. I think that's the stat, because the footballers, they wear the things at the back and it says how
That's
much.
a sort of a tracker, yes.
The tracker. I think he would be up there at least in the top 3 in our team for tracking back. But I personally feel Bentancur, when he's totally fit, he would be our best CDM if we weren't going to buy a more solid, hard man to play that role. Someone like Paulinho, he would fit the bill completely. Yeah, because that guy, he is a proper CDM, like Rodri is for Man City. People call him the poor man's Rodri, but bloody hell, I'll take the poor man's Rodri because he is a good footballer as well, But the thing is, we know Højbjerg's going to leave, right? And Bentancur's better than him. Everybody knows this. Nobody would dispute that. if you do dispute that, then you've got to get your eyes tested, right? Even though I love Højbjerg, yeah, and I'll big him up, Bentancur's a better footballer. That goes without saying, right? Other than that, I wish we could play a 4, but I would play Sarr for now and bring on Bentancur. And when we feel Bentancur is totally, totally ready, because we did rush him back, like the Irish Hotspur said the other day on his stream, fantastic analysis of why Andrews had to rush him back, because we've got no one else. You know, we've got Skip and Højbjerg. Although I love Højbjerg, he's got his limitations within Andrew's system, but he can play it, but he'll make mistakes because he's not used to moving the ball quickly. That's not his game. His game is to put his foot on the ball, look around, see what's on, and then make the lovely ball. Because his passing range is very good. He expands the play. But Bentancur, he would be my first choice if he was 100% fit, without doubt. And then I'll play Sarr and Madders. I would drop Basuma and let him have some splinters on his bum. You know, put him on the bench, even though he's not a wooden bench anymore. You know, give him a bit of food for thought, Chang. What do you think? What would your perfect 3 be in midfield?
My perfect midfield 3.
All fully fit. They're all fully fit.
All fully fit. It would be Maddison, of course. Maddison would lead the line. He will be the highest forward midfielder of the 3.
Yeah.
And behind him would be Pepe Sarr. I think he is the future for us in midfield as far as our current crop of players, the senior players that is concerned. Although I would like to see Elfie Divine. I would very much like to see Elfie Divine come good for us someday. If and when the likes of Bentancur and Bissouma and Højbjerg are then moved on to other clubs, yes, Elfie Divine would come good for us in future. But for now, it's just going to be Maddison, Sarr, and the last choice is going to be a controversial choice because I would like this person to actually gel and show some sort of caliber to his performance, to his game, compared to all the other players. It's actually going to be Oliver Skip.
Yeah.
Oliver Skip is actually our only true CDM, out and out CDM that we have on our books. Actually, if you compare him to the likes of, say, a Bentancur, Højbjerg, Bissouma, or anyone else that you can think of to fill that role, Skip is actually the only one that actually fits the bill as a CDM. The problem with him, or rather the problem that we fans perceive with Oliver Skip and his contributions to us, is that he doesn't get the cover to actually properly function as a CDM. Neither does he have this sort of understanding and a sort of dynamic to work with the other players in and around him to make him an efficient and a proper, or rather efficient and competitive CDM when it comes to the crunch ties, the big matches. I was actually hoping to see a lot more of Skip this season. Unfortunately, he's completely fallen off the wayside, and it wouldn't surprise me one bit if he is moved on in the summer. But that was actually supposed to be my ideal 3. Right now, if you were to ask me right here and now who I would choose, the 3 midfielders for this Sunday is going to be Maddison, Sarr, and Bissouma.
Yeah. The only one I disagree is Bissouma, because I just don't think he's played well enough to deserve a starting place. And if he continues on this trajectory of quite poor performances for what we know he can do, Chang, everybody knows how Bissouma plays. Everybody saw him at Brighton. Most people know that he's got technical skill. Anybody who watches him in the past for Brighton and for us now, you've seen the best and the worst of Bissouma, right? I just don't think he deserves a start, but I can see why Angie's persevering with him, because he wants him to be part of the team, and he's giving him some leeway, I think. Because some managers, they can see a player struggling, They can see a player looking for their form, looking to get that spark back, that mojo back, to get on that pitch and perform to the standard that he knows. Because Angie's not sitting there thinking, oh my God, Basuma's fallen off a cliff. He's probably thinking, I want him to get out on that pitch and prove that Yves Basuma deserves a place on the pitch. And he's giving him time, because I think he does want to go forward with Basuma rather than, say, Højbjerg. We know Højbjerg and Skip, right? He hasn't got choice. But when it comes down to the crunch, if we buy another CDM, then he might start thinking, well, Basuma might be my benchmark. He might be on the bench rather than on the playing field from the offset, unless he can prove in pre-season, when we go on the tour of Australia and South Korea, that he has bucked up his ideas, because he's only basically got, is it five or six matches left to prove to Ange that he deserves a seat to go to
including this Sunday's game. Is going to be 6 matches.
Yeah, I don't think Basuma's going to be sold. That's one thing I want to be made clear, right? All I want for him is to find his mojo and get back into what we know Basuma can do, right? And I know that's up to Ange and the player himself. You know, you've got to want to run back when you've lost the ball. You know, that desire within the fire in your belly, you know. And it's
tracking back, yes.
Yeah, it's easy just to stand there and let the other team score and let your team down, right? And I'm not going to harp on about it too much, because maybe it comes across like I'm digging him out too much. But I know what he can do, yeah, and he's not doing it. Not to my eyes. I'm looking at him. Do you know, when I look at Basuma, I'm really critical. I critique him, not critical. I critique him because I know that he's got more in there. Yeah, so I know Ange likes him a lot, because otherwise he wouldn't carry on playing him, would he? Right, so let's get back to the chat anyway. So we got welcome to Dragon D's Nuts. Here we go. Elly, behind you, lol. Yeah, I think you was alluding to that Josh picture. Sorry, because, you know, when it came up, I thought I'll leave it there, but then it did get a bit creepy, I must admit. Sorry, Josh, you're not a creepy fella, but that picture was a bit, you know, out there. And then we got David Shia, sorry, Queen Elly and Mr. Chang. Good day, Cobber and Cobbett. Yeah, I like that. David Shia, that looks thing creepy, Elly. Oh, the back. Well, I've changed it now, so it's not creepy anymore. And we've got David Shear again. Good day, Dragon, and everyone in the chat. Yeah, lovely. And then we've got David Clark saying, how is Spurs conceding from late corners when we have 2 centre-backs and 2 centre-forwards on the pitch? Another thing, lack of focus, lack of discipline, organisation. Yeah? Ange Postecoglou and the defensive coach, I'm sure he doesn't ask Maddison to mark Dunk or somebody little like, I don't know, Porro to mark Chris Wood. Come on. You know that the other players who are stronger and taller have got more chance of heading the ball away from Chris Wood than Porro or Maddison. And I've seen it on countless occasions. It's not just happened once. Even when we've won matches and we're defending corners and set pieces, we've seen it, haven't we, Chang? Yeah? I mean, what do you think?
Yes, we have time and time again.
It's very disappointing, isn't it?
Honestly, though, I think it's the way the players are set up and drilled, if I have to be completely honest, because if you look at the crop of players that we have, we aren't exactly lacking height. Neither are we lacking the numbers when it comes to defending, or even the required physical attributes when it comes to trying to win headers and second balls. I would say it's a lot down to how those players are actually set up. when it comes to defending those sort of set pieces, be it from free kicks or corners or anything of that sort.
Yeah.
I would actually put it down to the training regime or even the training drills that they go through. You know what? This is the thing that I was concerned even during pre-season when the
Mm.
likes of
Yeah.
Gianni Vio was
Yeah.
dismissed. I know that
Because he
I
was
was
part of
told somewhere that
Conte's
Gianni Vio
team,
actually had,
wasn't he? He was part of Conte's setup. Conte brought him in,
yes,
and then he didn't
correct,
fit the political side of the club. Yeah, so we got
but
rid of him.
But I was told, and I would like someone in the chat to actually correct me if I'm wrong here. I was told that actually that Gianni Vio had nothing to do as when it comes to the defensive set pieces. His sole purpose is actually to produce the goods when it comes to offensive set pieces, whether be it from free kicks and corners, and uh, this whole defensive sort of defending when it comes to set pieces is actually being handled by someone else entirely. So I believe this person who should be deputizing as far as drilling the players when it comes to defending isn't really up to scratch or really isn't doing a very good job at it. He, him, and or her, as it may be, whoever
Mm.
this was doing, who is in charge of the defensive aspects when it comes to defending, I think we need a big upgrade over this person or even these few people who are in charge of our defensive line. Uh, where do I even where I mean there are still so many things for us to have to iron out for us to address when it comes to just making sure that we don't concede needlessly. But what is more worrying is how we then concede week in week out without actually showing any sort of progression, any sort of improvement from the way that we are conceding. Because if you look at those chances that we are conceding from, it's pretty much the same story week in week out. It's just a vicious cycle, where there is no end in sight. You don't see any light at the end of this long dark tunnel as far as defending
Yeah,
goes for us this season. I feel that this should be addressed because you have to remember that back four that we have, the back four that we currently do have, the likes of Udogi, Poro, Van der Ven, and Romero, if they are to be our mainstay back four come next season, in which we aren't actually going to improve massively on that back four, and we have to rely on them again next season, if the defensive frailties that have been plaguing us all season long are still there come next season, I honestly can't see us challenging not
yeah,
even top three, let alone trying to get break into top four. If something doesn't change as far as our defensive setup is concerned, we are still going to be leaking the same goals next season as we have this whole season long. Because as I just mentioned, I don't think we are going to recruit in the defensive department, and you still have to consider Dragoshin as well. Dragoshin has been brought uh, in the winter transfer window and is only started once. His last match for us was at Fulham away, massacre, where he was just completely out of sorts, leading up to their opener in the first half. And again, as I mentioned, if we don't do something about that about these defensive frailties, I'm sorry to say, we are going to see the same heartache
yeah. Get
results
you.
come next season. It's going to be the same old story again for us.
Yeah, I get you. You know, I think we're going to iron out a lot of our problems by because Arsenal. I don't like to praise them, but they got a set piece coach in, and I think they've got the highest goals from set pieces this season. If I'm wrong, I do apologise, but I did hear it on one of the channels on Sky Sports when Arsenal were playing. Not this game, the last game, not the Chelsea game, the one before the Wolves. They said they'd hired a set piece coach and it's paid dividends. So we're lacking in that area. So I think we have to sort that out and sharpish. That's up to Ange to recruit somebody to, put his man forward to help us out in that area because there's a clear weakness there, you know. Um, and we have to score more goals from set pieces. We have to defend better. And these are small details, well, they're big details really, that lead to losses, when you can
I
get
could be wrong.
lines.
I could be wrong, but I believe these are the minor details, the very small, minute details that actually make the most difference. These are
Yes,
the ones that actually make or break your season.
yeah,
Even when it comes to, let's say,
agree.
the North London Derby this weekend, it could be the deciding factor as to who walks away with the victory. I
Yeah,
believe this should be
very
addressed in the
true.
summer.
Yeah, and I just want to bring up my niece's point as well because everybody's chatting to themselves. So I'm not missing anybody out because everybody who I've mentioned is already in the chat. So Drew say Lucia Garcia, Man United. I think that's how you pronounce it. Forward is impressive. Need to watch her. Very, very true. Very lively. Very tenacious, very skillful, very fast, quick on the turn. We've got to watch her because she's one of these players that it was a little bit of an unknown, but she's soon making a name for herself. So I just think yeah, she's another one that we've got to watch, Jula. What do you think, Chang? Did you see much of her in the game?
I saw a bit of her, if I to be perfectly honest. And
Yeah.
before the match on Sunday, I didn't see too much about her. Although what little I saw of her on Sunday is enough to convince me that she is going to be a handful for us as well, come the
Mm,
final. And
yeah.
I think honestly, these players that they can have their off days, but on a day they can have very good days as well. And as far as Miss Garcia is concerned, if we are to say try to nullify her on the day of the cup final,
Yeah.
our midfield and our defense have got to step up as far as trying to uh, break down their attack is concerned. I wouldn't necessarily again put too much emphasis on her because when you
Mm.
do that, then you do leave gaps, or rather you take your attention away from other players as well. And that is why I feel that each and every single one of them have to be given an equal amount of attention, and
True.
also to just even it out among all of them. But yeah, I would feel that she was one to look out for, and I just do hope that on that day she has a bad off day, come the final at Wembley.
Yeah, I agree. Now, obviously, leading on to the North London Derby, the big one. Oh my God. I'm so excited, Chan. Are you excited? Are you excited? Have you got squeaky
Most
bum?
definitely. Uh, I am both excited and fearful in equal measure.
Yeah, I
There's
get
not
you.
really there's not a way that I can put it to you how many mixed emotions are just coursing through my head right now, because this is big for us and for them. And at the end of the day, it's going to be which team wants it more, which which of us are going to be the
Yeah.
talk of North London
I
at
tell you
the
what, Chan,
end of the final whistle.
who
So
do
I
you
mean,
want to see
yes, I'm
play?
looking.
Who do you want to see play? Because we haven't got much time, and I want to get your prediction of who you want to play and your score prediction as well.
Vicario at the back, followed by Emerson Royal, who's going to
Yeah.
deputize for Udogi. We're going to
Okay.
see
Nice.
Van der Ven and Romero. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised though if Dragushin actually deputizes at right back if Pedro Porro is not up to
Shout.
scratch to start that.
Yeah.
So my ideal back four would be Royal, Van der Ven, Romero, and Dragushin. In midfield, we are going to have Madison, and behind him is going to be Bissouma and Sar. And our front three is going to be Son on the left, not at center forward. We're going to see Richie start up front, and hopefully Werner on the right, so that we can deploy Brennan Johnson as an impact sub if and when
Yeah,
things aren't going well for us in the second
yeah.
half. That's going to be my starting 11, and I'm predicting a high scoring draw,
Okay.
probably in the region of 2 or 3 all.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Sounds
that's going to
good
be
to
my
me.
starting lineup
Sounds like an
and
exciting
my
game.
prediction.
Yeah, lovely. I mean, me personally, I would play Kulusevski on the right for his strength, even though he's been off form. And I know I've been digging out Basuma for being off form, but I think he's better starting and then Johnson coming off the bench because Johnson can't last the 90 minutes and he tends to go up and down with his performances. I know Kulu does as well, but I just think he can offer us more on that right hand side to help with Martinelli as well. Yeah. Um, and then I would play Richarlison in the middle and Sonny on the left. And I'd have Madders, Sarr, and Bentancur in midfield rather than Basuma. I just think Bentancur is getting there. You know, we're seeing signs that he's making progress in terms of what he can do on the ball as well and his use of the ball. He's a very intelligent footballer anyway. That goes without saying. You know, he's got the minerals to hurt um, Arsenal. And on his game, like when he was against Manchester United, popped up with a goal, bossed the midfield, and I think he's got the beating of Odegaard. Even though Odegaard has had an excellent season, I think Bentancur on his day is a better footballer. I'll put my. I know that might sound controversial, but I just think Bentancur is slightly better than Odegaard. Even though Odegaard is playing out of his skin, but I think he's reached his plateau, you know. But I think Bentancur's got a lot more to give. And we saw in those last 6 games before he got injured, he was popping them in, he was spraying the passes, he was bossing midfields, you know, and he just has to get back to that. And I think this is the game is like, cometh the hour, cometh the man, Chang, you know, Lit Bentancur unleashed. Yeah, and he is part of my name as well. Queen Elly Bentancur, Hoybier, Werner. No, Werner's not going to be in my name.
To be honest with you, I don't think it's just only Benson Cole who needs to be unleashed. I think it's the entire starting 11 and
Yeah,
our bench as
I
well,
agree.
because every single one of them needs to step up massively following
Yeah,
that
they've got
St.
to turn
James's
up.
Park debacle. So it's not only just Benson Cole, but pretty much every
Yeah.
single one. Even Big Ange himself. Big Ange himself needs to really step up and really earn his place in North London folklore.
Yeah, we got Lee Smithy Smith just joined. Well, he probably joined us earlier, but we were so engrossed with everything. Like, sorry if we've missed you out on the chat, but we're not meaning this. It's because we got a lot to put in to to the discussion about Basuma, especially. And I think that is a really big topic with Basuma dropping off a cliff. You know, like a lot of players haven't performed, but he's the one we're relying on to link up with Madders. Yeah. So Lee Spiffy Smith, oh my God, it's obviously going to be and proo proo. But before that, he was speaking with Drula. Big up, Drula. I'm getting there. Hopefully, I will see you on Sunday. Yeah, David Shea, sorry, is the young lad more gonna play a role in North London derby? What do people think? Oh, that's Mikey Moore. I very much doubt it because I think he's 15 or 16 years old. I don't think they're going to blood him in this North London derby. It'd be unfair on the lad. I get your point though, David Shear. If you're good enough, you're old enough or young enough. Yeah.
But have you heard that he's actually training now with the first team? Are you
Yes.
aware that Mikey
Mhm.
Moore is training with the first team? Oh, that's good. All right,
Yeah,
that's good.
I'm aware of that, but I just don't think Angie's going to take a risk with him. Maybe he might make the bench. You never know. He might make the bench. It'll be a very good experience for him because that North London derby is a rocking match, and everybody's up for it. Arsenal fans are up for it. Spurs fans are doubly up for it, because we've always been looked upon as second-class citizens, haven't we? But we don't consider ourselves second-class citizens in the North London, because we're the true North Londoners. They're from Woolwich, so go back to Woolwich. You know what I mean? Yeah. So Clinton misses the FA Cup final because she's on loan from Manchester United. We know this. Spurs had 3 windows to get fullbacks but fouled. Our tall fullbacks got roasted by Leicester wingers, and they are average. Okay, David, we're going to leave it at that, right? But there's lots of other people we've got to hit as well. Like that Coover's saying here, women are more flexible in the joints, pros and cons, more delicate but far more supple. Yeah, that's a good observation there. Here we go. We've got David Shear saying the way Reguilon played for Brentford, is it a chance to be brought back by the Bees? I don't think Ange wants to go there. I think he's put him on loan for a reason. Yeah, I mean, Chang, what do you think of that?
Okay, I'm actually quite conflicted when it comes to Reguilon, because if you remember, there was one particular match when he had already terminated his loan with United, and he was with his second loan club. But even after his spell at United ended, he was still posting on social media about his previous loan club, which I felt was wrong. It should never have happened, because you are no longer with your previous loan club. You are now at another different loan club, and you should not be tweeting any sort of support for your previous loan club. Although it is not uncommon in this day and age for players to take to social media and address their former colleagues, I felt that maybe it should have been done in private and not being posted publicly for all to see. That actually doesn't go down well with a lot of people. And as far as Reguilon is concerned, for me, he's pretty much on the same boat as Brian Hill. Both these Spaniards are on their way out from N17. I'm sorry to say this.
You don't have to apologise. That's your opinion, Chang. You stick to your guns when you've got your opinion. You can be swayed by other people if you see they've got a much better point than maybe you. But at the end of the day, that's your opinion and that's your analysis. All right. If you get swayed by somebody else because they've put something in that you particularly liked, it's your prerogative to change your mind. It's not just a woman's prerogative, it's a man's prerogative. There, I'm putting it out there. The Hotspur Hood, welcome, Dan. Danny with the snake. Yes, come on. This game will show if Ange is ignorant, naive, stubborn, or really does have a trick or two and has the bottle to adapt. Yes. Do you know what? I've always won, like, when I've got a bee in my bonnet, and I often get a bee in my bonnet, I tend to be quite stubborn, right? But I'm still open to suggestion, right? I'm not one of these people who's stubborn and just stubborn for the sake of it. I'm stubborn because I believe in what I believe, right? And if somebody comes along with a better idea, or somebody tells me something that I'm doing wrong, I will take that on board. I'm not one of these people. And I think Ange is similar, because I just think maybe his stubbornness is to do with not so much stubbornness. I think it's because he's looking and he's learning who to cut and who to not cut. Yeah. And now this is a learning stubbornness process that he's going through. And he's got a goal to make us a much better side to compete on all fronts. So maybe we've got to be a little bit patient, but I do get your point, because I've been on your show, Dan, and I know I know where you're coming from, and I do agree with a lot that you say. There's grey areas as well, and there's white areas in terms of what Ange wants us to go to, that white utopia, to get to that utopian place where we're going to be playing lily white football, back in the day when we push and run, that lily white football that everybody's going to get on board with. And I think he he has to nurture this team to be better at what they do. And what I said about desire and mentality, that comes into it as well. So however ignorant, naive or stubborn Ange is, the players have to go on that pitch and do what he tells them. He's got the game plan. He tells them to do this. If they fall off the wayside, it can be their responsibility as well. Now, look, we've got to wrap up now because, Just a Girl Who Loves Spurs is going on in 5 minutes on their lovely member show, Kate and Jimbo. And also, Chang, I believe you want to join them as well. So where can we find you next, Chang? If that's
The
not
next
a silly
time
question.
I'm due to appear, if you remember on Monday, we were discussing something with
Yes.
Miss Kate and Jimbo to appear maybe on a Friday or a Saturday. But I think I might know more from her during the members calling show to see if maybe she has her internet settled over at her sister's leading up to the
right.
North London derby. So that will be, I have to check with her on that. But if I don't appear on Kate and Jimbo's Just a Girl Who Loves Spurs show, then the next time I'll be appearing would be the match watch along over at Tel and Talk and Ball with Senor Garcia and Mr. Sievers. I can't wait for that. And immediately after that, I believe we are going to be appearing together again on Monday during the post-weekend analysis and review of all the matches. And let's just keep our fingers crossed, hope and pray that we have a positive show to review about come next Monday.
Yeah. So we've got a show at 4 o'clock as well on Tel Cockerel. It'll be Jose and Colin and whoever they invite on. That'll be a fantastic show. So do tune in at 4 o'clock, everybody, and smash the likes before you tune in, because that all helps with the algorithm. Yeah. And all that's got to be said now is I'll put it over to you. What's the score going to be, Chang versus Arsenal?
I'm going to predict 3-3. I'm predicting it to be a high-scoring 3-3. That would be my prediction.
Okay. And I'm going to predict 3-2 to Spurs, because I'm going to go one better than Chang. 3-2 to Spurs. Our scorers are going to be Kulusevski, the first one. Johnson's going to come on and score. And then I'm going to give the last one to Højbjerg. Why shouldn't I? Come on. Højbjerg. He's got to score one goal before he leaves, just for me. And what better way to do it and crown his first goal in the North London derby. Ciao, everybody. Have a lovely weekend coming up, right? And also enjoy the match. Win, lose or draw. Not lose. We're not putting that word in. Win or draw. We'll all be happy. There's a party at my house as well. As everybody knows, I've put it out there. Anybody can join. You know, I'm not one to be snobby and say nobody can come into my house, as long as you behave yourself. And my husband Theo, he's a very quiet man, so we have to be noisy, right? Because he doesn't like noise. And that is the God's honest truth. All right, everybody, thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate everybody in the chat with all your brilliant comments. Sorry if I missed a few, but I'll get better at this. Don't worry. It just takes time. You take care and have a lovely, lovely afternoon. Take care, everybody. Let me just play us out with the music, if I can find it. Oh, God. I'm so useless on a computer, Chang. Honestly, don't let me loose. I'm trying to find the music now to play us out. Here we go. So have a lovely weekend. Spurs are going to win. North London derby. North London is white. Come on, you Spurs. Over to you, Chang.
Yes,
Bye-bye, everybody. Have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye.